Alright, guys, so today's podcast is gonna be interesting like always. I'm gonna have my woman, Kseniya Rousseau, to do some conversation about interesting topics. Today's podcast is gonna be regarding, spirituality and a couple of self-development topics regarding the things that we are doing currently and what is working after all this debacle after the election. And just to make sure that you always can follow us in the anchor.fm anchor.fm/P Alpha music. And then I have to do this announcement. Kseniya is going to have her new show where you can listen to her in the Kseniya Rousseau show or something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. So hopefully she can start doing her own episode, and that way she can just really give you your tips and idea and share her own experience during the self-development adventure and journey. And currently your podcast episode is one of the most popular in my podcast.
Ooh, I like that.
So interesting enough. So let's get into it. Kseniya, thank you so much for being on the show.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
So I noticed, and I have to just be honest in this regard, I've been liking a little bit in reading. I finally finished the 12 Rules of Life from Jordan Peterson. But you'd be more consistent than myself regarding reading. And I noticed that we have changed a lot. Mm-hmm. We did change a lot. We see the progress of having those new ideas to become something that is now part of our life. But in your case, you really managed to just transform yourself from what I met when I met you and who you are today. Can you speak about that a little bit?
Oh, thank you. Yeah, no, I love reading. Sometimes, we've kind of fell off for a little bit, but trying to get back into it. Kind of in the middle of 2 books right now. One is very slow. It's good. It's talking about, feminists, but not in terms of feminism, which I like. It's just, it's a book about just getting in tune with your feminist side and, how as women, we can become, more badass and get in tune with our spiritual side and everything like that. How to become better partners, wives, mothers, everything like that. And then the other book is called Radical Forgiveness, which is really good. It's just talking about how, not to fall into victimhood anymore, when it comes to our problems, and how to just forgive people for what they've done, and, how to live out a better life, in terms of not feeling that way. And, like we always say, that self-responsibility is a big thing. So the book is really good so far. It's a little bit tough, but it's very good.
Now, for those, we have females listening to the podcast as well. And can you dig a little bit deeper regarding how do you found that feminine energy that some females can just lose track of it, Mm-hmm. I mean, there's people, you're working, you worry about having some money to put in the table just to get some food, or just to go by. How can you tell those females to just hey, there's time to just get in tune with yourself?
Well, I think it's important to not always focus on work and the outside world. It's you have to focus on yourself too. You can't lose yourself in the process, especially work-life balance. I mean, that's what we wanted when we work from home. So I think working from home has given me that opportunity to be more in tune with myself. When I get stressed, we go to the gym, we do other things, we read. And well, like I said the other day, funny enough, last year around this time, I said I wanted to get more in tune with my feminine side. And then bam, we're pregnant. And what was the best way to tap into that feminine side is Not saying ladies go out there and get pregnant, but it definitely has helped me just transform, and just find that feminist side, and as my body's changing and everything like that, learning to appreciate myself and how me as a woman can carry, another life. But yeah, I think it's just, you have to take time out for yourself.
Yeah.
Honestly, that's what it is.
I agree. I agree with you in that regard. How can you even serve people if you cannot even take time for yourself? That's crazy. You're willing to help people, but you never are willing to help yourself.
Yeah.
How can that even be a thing? And I think it's because I think we spoke about this. How easy is to tell people what to do, but it's so hard to tell yourself what you need to do. Mm-hmm. And in some instance, that could be, for some people that can be, hey, at least that person's just giving you the hand that you need, right? In that moment. But when you really dig into it, it's coming from a place of not wanting to really control your own responsibility. You cannot help someone if you cannot help yourself. It's not congruent. And you've been doing a good job with that, where when I met you, you were willing to help a lot of people's work. But by that time that I met you, you were not willing to help yourself. But then you became more into that area where now you're helping yourself more instead of helping other people. I'm not saying that that's bad. I think that's a great way to just, hey, I can now help more people because I could now finally help myself. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Well, yeah, I think we had this discussion the other day about, they say, how can you love another if you can't love yourself? Mm-hmm. And it's the same type of ideology that, how can you want to pour all your love into someone else when you can't really pour, that love into yourself? And I had to learn that the hard way. I always thought, oh, I love everyone, but I don't love myself.
Yeah.
And then one day it was like, no, I do love myself. I have to obviously work on that self-love more. But if I have all this capacity to love other people, I need to have that capacity to love myself.
Yes.
And that's where the self-worth stems in, because if you don't love yourself, you're going to just allow people to, walk all over you, and then you're going to always fall into that victimhood cycle. Yeah. And that we don't grow from that victimhood cycle, Yeah,
it's giving some doors for people to bully you, and not only bully you, treat you like the worst things, And Kseniya has been there present when I deal with these situations where I really, when I know something is wrong or something is out of the boundaries, I tend to put a stop to things that I know they're not okay, or I don't feel okay with it, And that's a process that I had to just build myself toward. It's not something that I just got born. It's like I was saying, Kseniya, when we were in North Carolina in the business trip. I'm an introvert, but an extrovert as a choice. Mm-hmm. So I didn't build myself to be an extrovert. I didn't born.
You weren't naturally.
I was not naturally an extrovert.
Yeah.
I had to build myself to be an extrovert, and that that included some responsibilities, because I knew there was things that needed to just get done, and that requires me, reading, just listening to a couple of audiobooks, just waking up every morning with those motivational stuff, because day by day that is gonna become who I am in the future, right? Reading those messages, stepping myself out of that comfort zone, making ourselves just bigger in that regard, is what you want to be sure you become in the future. What can you say about that?
Well, I was just amazed when, in the business trip that we went on, Pablo was just going up to everyone, shaking everyone's hand, and I felt like the little, kid hiding behind him because I'm over here shy. And I would say I'm extrovert, introvert by nature. But when I just saw the way, you were just going up to people naturally, hey, I need some tips, or hey, how you doing? I'm Pablo, that really amazed me. And that just like brought me so much motivation. Like, if this is something that he was not comfortable with in the past and he's doing it, imagine how much further he can go, stepping out of his comfort zone and knowing that he needs to do it, even though it might be a little bit, it's like, dipping your toe in the water thinking it's going to be cold, but it's actually warm. So I just really admire that about you. And I appreciate that. And that just motivates me every day. Seeing you constantly grow helps me grow and makes me want to grow, because that's what we have to do. We have to water each other and, watch each other grow.
Yeah, I agree with that. But just to give a little bit of a background, how I developed those kind of skills. I managed to just book a lot of concerts by myself, and I have a lot of failures and some success regarding that. And I hate it. I had to do a lot of calls. I had to just talk with a lot of people about business, right? It's different, when you are in the, you're dating in the past, right? I used to do a lot of dating. That's different from working in a business where you have to call people. You have to sit down with people. You have to just go handshake people. So I had to go to conferences, stuff like that, and just try to do it. Just to try, hey, my name is Pablo. You just look at people straight in the eye. That was one of the hardest things. But then I managed to hack it out. Like, really hacked the fact that I can just walk up to somebody, shake their hand and say, okay, hey, I'm here. Yo, what's up? And it seems kind of weird in the beginning, but then you sort of like, you'll get used to it. Like it's a feel like, okay, it feels awkward, but it's a natural awkwardness, and it does give you a great amount of confidence when you finish your day, and it does resemble who you are, or who you become. Because I remember, I'm not that person. Inside my heart, I'm not that person. I'm just still that little kid. So who I chose to be that person that day in North Carolina is the person I want to keep becoming to be. And even in your case, Kseniya, you managed to even get some network and even speak with some folks as well. You say something like that?
That was, I would say definitely since pregnancy, I've been having more, I guess, anxiety. And I think it's more about the way I look, the way my body's changing. And I have to step back and just say, no, you can be this confident person, whether you have a belly or not. And I know that, some people may hear this and say, like, what? Like, that doesn't make sense, but it's true. During, since pregnancy, I started feeling very insecure, shy, like I didn't want to be seen, the times at the gym. But then I had to, like, tell myself, like, first of all, these are just people. We're all human, and I had to just think back on, like, the times where I was feeling very confident about myself and, like, all right, let me just kind of fake it till you make it type of thing. And, just be that person before. And I know that obviously, after pregnancy, I'm going to jump back into that confident Kseniya. But going through it now, it's like a good lesson to be learned, having that anxiety, but being aware, like, okay, no, I have to get past it, because I wouldn't say I'm naturally shy. I am an extrovert. I'm an introvert, but I am an extrovert. But I think it's just being comfortable with yourself is the number one thing. So.
Yeah, that's it. Basically, being comfortable with your skin, basically.
Yeah.
Just make sure that when you're a crocodile, and that's a very hard things to understand, because even you feel sometimes that you're not comfortable, right? It's like you feel like you're naked. Listen, a lot of people could look at you, or a lot of people can say things about you, but can you feel comfortable enough to receive those messages? You know, that's the thing. And that could be an argument, you know, that could be an argument that no, I cannot feel comfortable enough because people are speaking about me. But at the end, you should not care less what people are thinking about you. The fact that even they decide about talking about you, that should be a compliment. They're wasting their time speaking about people. They're wasting their time just talking about you instead of talking about themselves. So here's the thing. In Kseniya, I noticed that in some of your instances, you managed to even associate yourself with other people. And now that you are doing, you know, you're just working from home, you managed to even speak with or associate with people that really want to, you know, have the best for themselves.
Yeah, you have to. I mean, you know, we always talk about, you know, the 5 people or the people that you surround yourself with. And I can adapt to environments very quick.
Yeah.
So you put me in a toxic environment, I can easily turn toxic. You put me in a good self-development environment, same thing. So, and I think a lot of people may not realize, but you know, us as humans, we just adapt naturally. So I think when you're aware of the environment that you're in and you want better for yourself, you need to find those people that are either on your level or even above you. I mean, you need to, in order to be successful. And I mean, you know, it's like, why do you want someone who wants to bring you down? Or when you tell them an idea you have and they just are like, all right, sure.
Yeah.
You know, because then they have those limiting beliefs and now they're projecting that onto you. So, you know, what do you think is going to happen to you? You're going to start having limiting beliefs. So surrounding yourself with those people that want to succeed and are maybe not always on the path that you're on, but that path of, you know, I want to do better for myself, it's key. It is key.
Now, for those females that are listening to the program and they're wondering, oh, okay, so you're pregnant. How do you even feel this way? How do you even do these things? What would you recommend to them?
Not stopping.
Okay.
I've read a lot of things about how women, once they get pregnant, you know, they kind of develop an excuse. The pregnancy excuse. Oh, I can't do this. I can't do that. And I told myself, even from like the day we found out, like, I'm not going to let my pregnancy be my downfall, or maybe not a downfall, but like a step back.
Yeah.
Because if I can do the same thing pregnant or even more, you know, just imagine how much more I can do after.
Yeah.
You know, and I know there's going to be a lot of responsibility, we're going to be busy with the baby and stuff. But, no, I feel proud of myself. Like I was still able to do a whole lot, have all this energy, and thank God it was such a healthy pregnancy too. So that obviously helped me, you know, work more and go to the gym more. So I just think, ladies, if you're pregnant out there or if you're planning on it, don't let that little excuses, or don't let, you know, people like, oh, just take a rest, relax. I understand, you know, if your body needs it, your body needs it. And don't get me wrong, there's days where, you know, I need it too, but you cannot stop, you know, because you will thank yourself later, you know, and your baby will thank you later too.
Yeah.
You know?
Interesting. You still go to the gym. You still go hard. You still walk nice. You still move very flexible. You still do a lot of things. Like, even I noticed that a lot of people, they tell you, you know, you don't even look pregnant. What the hell are you talking about? You don't even look pregnant. I mean, are you pregnant? What are you? 3 months? And you tell them, no, I'm 9 months. And they're like, what?
Yeah, doing 2 weeks. Well, not even 8 days now.
Yeah. And that was very interesting because when I met Kseniya, I was in the in the fitness kind of environment, and she was as well, and she always was there when I was going to the gym. And now that she's been pregnant, now she even included more. She's always telling me, let's go to the gym, and sometimes I'm the one lacking off and she's the one bringing me back, which is amazing. But to see her really carrying herself over with the gym working, it's a great way to just share how that mentality changed, and how do you put yourself in that state of mind that you will be like, okay, nothing's gonna change and I'm gonna keep just moving forward with this even though I'm pregnant.
Because I think and a lot of the times after pregnancy, it's more common, the postpartum depression.
Yeah.
But, believe it or not, when you're pregnant, you can develop it too, only because, you have so many hormones going on, everything's changing drastically. But that's where I had to keep telling myself I have to keep going. Because if not, if let's just say I retract, then I'm going to start to really feel that emotional and mental heaviness. And I think the reason why I was able to kind of stay afloat mentally, and don't get me wrong, there was my days, where I was, sad or crying for no reason. But first off, that's normal. It's part of it. Mm-hmm. So you can't beat yourself up for it. And by staying busy, and what I mean by staying busy is not ignoring your feelings by staying busy, but being aware of your feelings, but knowing that, okay, if I go to the gym, I'll feel 100 times better. And that, that's been my antidepressant for years now. Going to the gym, I feel so much better. Or getting some work done, reading, whatever it is. So I just think that having those healthy habits or hobbies is key in your everyday life, whether you're pregnant or not. Yeah. That really helps.
That's a great point. You managed to change from one environment to the other, and that's the way you transition yourself, and you even said it yourself that you're very flexible by getting used to one environment to the other. And for some folks that could be a lifetime skill, and for you can just get it quick in just a matter of days, that would say. And for some of the folks that are listening, what would you recommend in regards to this is what I do to be able to be in that state of mind
when it comes to adapting?
Yeah.
I mean, first you have to be aware of what type of environment that you're in. Mm-hmm. It's a blessing and a curse to adapt so easily, because if it's the wrong one, that's where you can get sucked under, pretty fast. And then if it's the good one, obviously, you're going to obviously level up a lot quicker. But I just think that just being aware of your surroundings, being aware of my body is very sensitive when it comes to energy and good environments versus bad environments. If I'm in a bad environment, stomach will hurt, I'll get anxious, I'll get, everything. So I think knowing your body too and how it reacts to certain people, the energy around it, that's just being aware, I would say, is the biggest thing.
That's a good point regarding the environment. That's and I think you and I, we discussed this many times, how an environment can really, really, really determines your state of mind in some regards. Because if you have a room, right, and that room is filthy, you will have a filthy mind. You cannot go to the world with a clean mind, because even about this is sometimes when I go through the closets, I'm like, I need to just organize this closet because that's a piece of my brain that is not clean, and that can sound kind of crazy, right? Sometimes, right? But in reality, it could be that, right? It's a peace of mind, a piece of my brain where I haven't just organized that area myself. So I need to just make sure it's clean. So that's an environment example. Clean that area, right? And just go to the world after that. You cannot just get out of your house without making sure that everything is organized, right? What do you say to that?
Well, yeah, to definitely agree with you on that. You know, your home space, you know, is your sanctuary. So, you know, there could be a lot of madness and craziness outside, but you know, when you come home, you want your place to be zenful and you know, you want to be able to just drop everything and just say thank you that I'm home and, you know, enjoy and relax yourself. And if the outside world is crazy and then you go home and your inside world is crazy, I mean, you know, you're kind of in for it. And
True.
Definitely depression is big in that. I've had many experiences where I've helped, you know, people literally clean their room because it was a pigsty and they felt, you know, crappy. And they're like, I don't know what's going on, Kseniya. Well, I mean, look at your room. Let's start with your room first. And then once we clean your room, then you tell me how you feel afterwards.
That's a good point.
And most times after you clean that room, what do you feel? You feel so much better.
Much better.
You know us. I have to make sure all the dishes are put away and cleaned before I go to sleep, because if I see that in the morning, I know that I didn't do my job. And it's not that I'm a perfectionist. It's this is my space and I want it clean, you know, and we deserve that. Yeah. You know, everyone does.
No, that's a good point. And sometimes I think this could be a confusion with a lot of people. You start with that simple, you know. Just clean your room. Making
your bed in the morning.
Making the bed in the morning, yeah. And just make sure that you start with a positive attitude. And sometimes, you know, sometimes we can make the decision that you just have a bad attitude. Make sure that you take a deep breath. Make sure you don't make that a priority. You always want to make sure that you know, wake up with that right attitude. And I remember when I started developing stuff, personal developing, I was all over the place. All over the place. I mean, I hated everybody. I hate myself. I hate everything. But I knew that one thing after the other, it had to start from my point of view of, you know, I had to do something about this. And I figured out how to do it, right? And I had to start with the mornings routines. Starting with what do I listen in the morning? What do I eat? What do I talk? How do I talk? What words did I use? What words I'm not using? You know, how am I handling my sentences? Am I saying affirmatively, or I'm always using some words just to have a scapegoat? So weak languages, you know, a lot of things. And in those cases, right, those are the things that I can control. The other things that happens, you know, election day, you know, things like that, whatever happens in China, I can't control that. So whatever happened there is their problem. But I can control is what I can have in my hands, where I can just manipulate, just to be sure that I always start in the right foot. You want to say that?
That is a great point. Yeah. I mean, listen, and too, like you said, what you feed your mind in the morning, and especially right before you go to bed. I mean, you know, I've always told you, I don't like to go to bed angry or upset, because then I don't want it to travel over into the next morning. Correct. And, you know, this is not for just people in relationships or partnerships. This is for everyone. You know, you want to make sure that you go to bed with a clean heart. You pray, you do your meditation, whatever you do to just give yourself that peace of mind before you go to sleep, you know, and then when you wake up, you think whatever, the higher power, whoever, you know, and you start your day. But like you said, just, you know, those 20 minutes in the morning is the key. What are you doing when you first wake up? Are you making your bed? Yeah. Or do you have a pout on your face? You know, what is inside your mind even, you know? Or are you jumping right to social media to check out, who's dating what rapper now? No, I mean, you have to really be aware of what you're doing in the morning.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point. Well, the information that you get, that's a good point about when you wake up in the morning. What's the first thing that you're watching? What's the first thing that you're looking? Imagine always looking about gossips. Or imagine just looking about porn, for instance. Imagine about, all those things are small pieces of seeds that you put in your brain that it's going to be hard later to just get out of your brain, And just to wrap this thing up, what would you say lastly for, and you notice that yourself, that a lot of females there's a high state of depression. What would you say for that person that's listening to you and say, I don't know where to go, I don't know where to start?
Ooh, I would honestly say, if it's something that you feel like you can't control, therapy. I would say therapy is key. Obviously at your own discretion. But if it's something that you feel like maybe you don't need therapy, then again, reevaluating yourself.
Yeah.
Evaluating, okay, what do you do? What do I do before bed? What do I do in the morning? How much am I spending on social media? What am I looking at on social media? Because that's big too, especially women, we go on social media and then we start comparing ourselves to the Instagram model. And, of course, we all do that. But just pay attention to what you're looking at, what you're focusing on, how your day is, how your mood is, how your energy is. Being literally aware of your body, your surroundings. Yeah, I think, and constantly, like that, what do we say? Massive action, constant correction. But, and we that comes in terms of our work, but that honestly plays a big, that line right there is so key for just life.
Correct.
Massive action, constant correction.
That is true.
Make a mess in life because we're human and we're not perfect.
Yeah.
But constantly correcting yourself and what can I do better? How can I be more loving to myself or to others, or how can I be more giving? And stop comparing yourself. Don't look at the other person. You have to look at you.
Mm-hmm. That's a good point.
Look yourself in the mirror, and you'll find those answers that you seek. Really.
Yeah. That will be pretty much for tonight's podcast. Thank you so much, Kseniya, for being part of this episode. Make sure that you stay tuned. Kseniya's gonna have their own podcast show. She'll figure out how she's gonna call it. Right? Maybe it's gonna be Kseniya, the Kseniya Show, or something like that.
Something like that.
Just make sure that you follow her in your page. What's your page? The Facebook page that you have.
Oh, I think it's becoming the best version of yourself.
Yeah.
If you guys follow Pablo, I'll just have it on his.
I will put it in the description below,
Yes,
and that way they can follow you. Mm-hmm. And that's where you mostly you can follow in Instagram as well.
Same thing. It's becoming the best version of yourself. No space.
Yeah, and she basically is gonna have the information and where she's gonna give updates regarding the show. By next week, we're probably gonna have an update, correct?
Yes, if I don't give birth, yes. But I'll try to at least have one before,
of course,
baby comes, so we can kind of get the ball rolling.
Nice. So basically, like always, just make sure you like, and subscribe, share the content. We're gonna really appreciate it. Make sure you can just also listen to the podcast in the Google Radio, Apple Podcasts, iHeart, in everything. We are everywhere. Over 10 or 11 stations.
And share with all your friends.
Share with all the friends, and we're gonna really appreciate it. With this, we say adios. Have a good night.
Have a great night.